Hey there, magic makers. It's Deb D here for your Sunday surrender. Our Sunday of our full moon total lunar eclipse, no big deal Sunday. Ooh, how you feeling? What's rising in you, my magic makers? For the energy is indeed intense. To help us out with our magical alignment today, I am going to be doing a Sunday Surrender Oracle for us all. But before we get to our Oracle reading, I have been inspired to share a story with you. Now, bear with me. This story actually has a point, and it's all about this full moon. This story is about the blue crab, the blue full moon crab. So, last night, the werewolf and I, so if you don't know, side note, I'm a moon witch and I'm married to a werewolf. So the werewolf and I are driving towards our sheep farm. Maybe you don't know, we live on the island of Tobago and we are the happy owners of many gorgeous sheep that we absolutely love. Anyway, we're driving to the sheep farm at sunset to put out some grass, make sure the water's good for the sheep. And as we're driving down the main road into this village, you see these young lads running along the road, and what are they chasing? A crab. And I'm like, a crab? And the werewolf's like, well, yeah, it's full moon and we've just recently had rain, so the crabs are going to be out. And I'm like, of course the crabs are out. It's not only full moon, it's full moon total lunar eclipse. So yeah, the crabs are out. So we get to the sheep and we're doing our bits and pieces, and then the werewolf goes, what? And I hear him call out from across the farm. And I'm like, what's going on? And I go over to see, and what he has found in amongst some wood that we have there to build things for the sheep is the most beautiful, large, blue crab. It's big. It's like pincers are massive. And the blue colors, so beautiful. And we're like, what you doing here, crab? This is where the sheep hang out. You're far from water. What you doing here? Anyway, the werewolf picks up the crab, puts it in a bucket, and we're like, we'll deal with the crab later because we've got sheep business now. By the time we're finished with the sheep, it's already dark, the sun has set. We're about to leave, and I say to the werewolf, oh, the crab. And I was like, crap, the crab. So we went to go and get the crab. The crab in the bucket gets put on the back of the van. And we're like, it's late now, let's see what happens. Maybe we'll see more crabs on the way home. The destiny of the crab is still unknown. Will the crab remain in the bucket? Will the crab end up with more crabs in the bucket? Will the crab end up on someone's dinner plate? I don't know. It's actually up to the werewolf to decide. So we make our way home, and the crab is on the back of the van. No more crabs. And we decide, well, we'll deal with the crab in the morning. This morning we go out, and there's the crab in the bucket, just hanging out. And we're like, well, look, full moon blessings, let's release the crab. So as we're driving back to the sheep farm, we find a perfect spot where there's some earth leading to a body of water, and we're like, yeah, this is the place where the crab is going to be full moon released. Lucky day for you, crab. You are not to be eaten, you are to be released. So then we get the bucket and we gently tip the crab out, and then the crab lands on the earth kind of stunned. And I think, well, I'd be stunned too if I was in a sheep farm. What am I doing there? Then I was in a bucket overnight. Now I'm back on the earth. There's this stunned moment. So the werewolf goes and just kind of taps the crab a little bit, and it kind of shimmies a little bit and then stops again. And then we just watch and wait, and it takes a moment, and the crab figures out, aha, right, I'm on the earth. I get a sense, water's that direction, and then the crab takes off, dives in. Lucky day for the crab, full moon blessings for the crab. But later in the day, when I was going for my salt bath in the ocean, I thought, I think we're all the crab. Now this is the bit where I talk about why I told you the story about the crab. Full moon is always, like the crabs, coming out is always going to bring to the surface. Something's going to rise. And now we're at a full moon in Scorpio, and a full moon in Scorpio, total lunar eclipse. That is like a whole heap of rising to the surface. Scorpio likes to be deep. Scorpio is about our deeper selves. It's about the parts that maybe are secret or hidden or taboo. And that full moon is always, that cosmic spotlight is always going to be bringing our feelings and also things in our patterns in our world that we need to work with to the surface. And at a total lunar eclipse, what you get is that energy is like supersized. And with it being in this Scorpio, with this Taurus Scorpio axis, what it's actually asking, like the crab, is coming to the surface to have a whole new destiny. So breathe it in, Magic Maker. What is coming to the surface for you now? And it may have come to the surface in the last couple of days, like the crab, or it may have been something that during this eclipse season has started to come to the surface. And, hot magical tip here, it may not be new. It may be something that you've been working with and through for a while. And in particular, if you think back to our November last year eclipse, what was kind of percolating there? Because this same Taurus Scorpio axis was also at play November of last year. So are you working on a bigger story or a bigger pattern or a bigger transformation in your life that started to play out last November? Now, my Magic Maker, are you the crab? Have you come out of your hole with the light of the full moon to then find yourself in whole new territory? Are you the crab in the sheep farm? Are you like, what am I doing here? Maybe let's just hide in the wood. Don't hide in the wood, because you will be found. A werewolf will find you. So just breathe it in with what is rising in the surface to me. Am I where I am expected? Am I in unknown territory? Or are you the crab that has been caught and is sitting in the bucket? It's just like, I got to sit in my feelings now. I am completely at the mercy of what is going to happen outside of this bucket, outside of me, the universe. Are you in the sheep farm? Are you in the bucket? Or are you being released? Are you giving yourself the opportunity to release? And just like the crab, it can be a little bit jarring. Like you may need a little help along. Like, at what point do you land back on the earth? And then do you know that you're there? And then how do you navigate? How do you find yourself back to safety? Which for the crab was the water. So for this particular full moon, like I shared with Scorpio, something deep inside is coming to the surface. And the eclipse energy is helping us to now see it clearly, even if it feels like, whoa, this is not where I expected to be. The crab did not expect to be in the sheep farm or the bucket. But there is an opportunity now. Don't get caught under the wood in the sheep farm. Don't get caught in the bucket. There's an opportunity, even if it feels jarring and you're a little bit, I don't know what to do, there is an opportunity to find earth again, because it's on that Taurus axis. Find earth again and then find your way to a new body of water. So, my magic makers, which crab are you this full moon? What is rising in you? And also know, with this Taurus Scorpio axis, it did begin in November, and then this is the second eclipse in this same energy, and there's a third one coming. And so it's okay if at the moment you're still like, but I'm still working it through. And if you realize, well, I am actually in the crab that's like caught underneath the wood in the sheep farm, that's okay. Just be where you are and know where you are, and then ask by the light of the moon, what can be released now? How can I release myself now? Like the crab, your destiny may be a whole new body of water. So I hope that helps in giving you a perspective of this total lunar eclipse, which is rising right now, rising in all of us. And this energy has been felt for days as we've come into it, and it will be felt for days. So just, continue to be with it. What is rising in you? So as we have the crab as our inspiration for our story and our learnings and what's possible and what's happening with our magic for this full moon, I have been inspired to work with the oracle, which is all about our spirit animals. So now let's begin to shuffle those cards, magic makers. You may not identify with the crab. You may not be buried deep coming up to the full moon. You may have some different energy circulating in your world. I'm curious also. So far we have crabs, we have sheep, we have you. What other energy is there? So now asking for the oracle with the spirit animal. What shall we ask first, magic makers? I'm just thinking, what else do we need to know about this story? The story of the crab, and I'm in the sheep farm, then I'm in a bucket, then I'm being released. So let's just see, because sometimes what you do with the oracle deck when you're working with oracle, whether it's for yourself or with someone else, you can ask for a clarifier. So the first thing I'm going to ask for with our oracle reading today is, can we have a clarifier of the energy that is being shared within this healing activation, within this oracle reading, within this moon? So let's pull now an animal, a spirit animal, as a clarifier. What else do we need to know about this deep down Scorpio aspect of us? It's a secret, it's taboo, it's something we haven't been talking about for a while, it's something that is deep within us. It's also, some people can see it as the shadow part of you. What do we need to know about that part of ourselves that is coming to the surface with this full moon? So which spirit animal would also like to support this energy for us all, magic makers, across the world, underneath the same moon? Which spirit animal would like to support us? So taking a big deep breath with me, magic makers, while we select our first spirit animal card for this full moon reading. And what do we have? Porcupine. Oh, so nice. Porcupine, time for beginner's mind. Here we are. Look at the porcupine. So what's interesting about the porcupine, and also interesting about the crab, this is the first thing coming to me, is that on the surface there is a protection. So the crab has that hard shell, like the crab that the werewolf and I found yesterday. I'm telling you, this shell was beautiful, beautiful mixtures of blues, like a really good looking crab. And a porcupine is going to have, that spiky skin or edges, and it's all about protection. So for you, in what way have you been protecting yourself? And we all work in patterns of beginning to protect ourselves, and we create protective practices or patterns because literally at a point in time we felt that we needed the protection, and sometimes that protection is needed then but not now. And so we find ourselves in needing to crack the shell or let go of the spiky edge so that we can have a beginner's mind. So we can be the crab that's like, okay, I'm out of the bucket and I'm back on the earth. What do I do now? Because also this crab was released in a completely different part of the island than I guess where it came from. So in what way can you have beginner's mind now? So think about that when we're working on these bigger patterns of things that we want to clear, things that are buried deep. How can you look at this with that beginner's mind? How can you be curious, not judgmental? How can you be looking at it from a different angle, perhaps? Is it time to take a look at a part of your life in a new way, or just in that fresh way of let go of everything that you think you know Let go of all of the feelings attached to whatever is rising to the surface, and just take a fresh look. What's there for me? If I look again, without any of my preconceived, without any of the baggage from the past, but if I just take a breath and just look now about what is rising in me, what is there for me to see? So that's where we begin with the porcupine spirit. Let's now pull a second. Let me grab the cards again. These cards are very beautiful. These cards, Colette Baron Reed, the Oracle deck, which is all about our spirit animals. So we have a porcupine, we have some sheep, we have a crab, we have you, we have me, we have a werewolf, and we have a moon witch so far in our stories and our magical alignment. And now I'm going to ask, by the light of this moon, which spirit animal would like to come to the light? By the light of this full moon, for the magic makers tuning into this oracle reading, which spirit animal would like to come to the light? Maybe you have a message, maybe there's some guidance, maybe there's something in our blind spot, maybe there's something else to add to our beginner's mind, released from the bucket like the crab. Breathing in, magic makers, as we ask, by the light of this moon, which spirit animal would like to come to the light? Let's see what we receive, magic makers. Wombat, be at home. It's so interesting because the crab really wasn't at home. The wombat, be at home. This for me is bringing in that Taurus support that we can have around this moon. Taurus, which is the axis. So whenever we have a full moon, it's always in opposition to where the sun is, and our sun is in Taurus now, and Taurus really is around, am I safe, is everything comfortable, are we all okay, are we nurtured? And Taurus, kind of similar to Cancer. Cancer has this more, Cancer the crab, mind you, has this sense of like wanting to feel safe and secure. And so this particular access around this Taurus Scorpio has also been bringing up for us around our self-worth and how we feel about ourselves within our earthbound body. And so with this wombat spirit saying be at home, what's coming for me now is you are home. Like return to yourself. To be at home, be earthbound, be in yourself, in your experience with your beginner's mind, and be at home in self. Find your own place of safety and comfort now, because this energy of this full moon with this Scorpio and this eclipse energy, yeah, it can be a little bit intense. And like the full moon, it brings like emotions to the surface. It brings in our intuition out. It brings out into the light things that were hidden, like the crab. And so when I say who else wants to come to the light, it's really interesting because also wombats, they come out at night. So look at this, wombat's wearing a fantastic crown. Can you see that? Fantastic. So be at home, wombat spirit. Let's just breathe that in for a minute, magic makers. Yeah, it's still coming to me. Be at home in yourself. Know that you are safe no matter what is rising, that you are safe. And if for any reason you literally don't feel safe, reach out to somebody in your world who feels like home. And be at home in your own body, in your own heart, and know that this eclipse energy and this Taurus Scorpio axis, which we've already been in for 6 months and we're going to be in for another 6 months or more, it is actually helping us with bringing things to the surface so it can be transformed. And it can feel uncomfortable when it's happening. So stay close to home, literally, if you can. Like, stay close to the people who support you, stay close to yourself, and just breathe in, I am home, I am earthbound, I am safe, everything that is happening for my highest good. That's a little bit of your wombat right there. So we have a porcupine, we have a wombat, and let's pull our third card. I'm now going to ask not so much about the full moon. I am going to ask about the ending now of our eclipse season. So this full moon with its total lunar eclipse is also the end, my friends, of our eclipse season that we have been in since our new moon. So now let's ask the spirit animals one more question, because I am a curious moon witch and I want to know some more. Which animal would like to share with us around some lessons, insights, or things that are important for us to know for our highest good around the eclipse season that is coming to an end now? And no, magic makers, in an eclipse season, things can really feel chaotic, or they can feel like the earth is shifting underneath you. More reason to find yourself at home with the wombat. And at the end of an eclipse season, something may have changed, something may have ended, something new may have begun. And the eclipse season is ending, but the energy that has been shifted is going to continue to play out. Right? So, what insights, lessons, magical alignments, which animal would like to share with us what is in our highest good to know as we complete this eclipse season? Which animal is going to come next? Yep. Fox. This is a little bit different. This is different energy, which is think on your feet. The fox is watching what's going on. This energy is, as we move forward, we're going to be playing out what's shifted with this full moon, what's changed in the eclipse, and we're in Mercury retrograde. And Pluto's retrograde, indeed. So think on your feet. Be agile now. Beginner's mind. Be willing to shift. Be willing to change. Don't resist what this moon and this eclipse has been bringing for you. Think on your feet and trust your instincts. Which direction do I need to go next? It's like the crab found itself on the earth. It took a minute towards the water. So think on your feet as we move beyond this eclipse, but also consider in what ways in the last 2 weeks during the eclipse have you had a little fox in you that needed to quickly shift, think on your feet, maybe move in a new direction. Whew! Really interesting in that we have some beginner's mind, think on your feet and be at home, porcupine, fox and wombat. Here we are. Let me show you them one at a time because they're just so gorgeous. Here's our porcupine, beginner's mind. Then we get some wombat, be at home in yourself. And then moving beyond that, look at that fox. Look at the fire of that fox. Ooh. Thinking on our feet. So what I'd like you to do, Magic Maker, is actually breathe in and take all of that in. I started with a story about a crab. Myself and the werewolf have found a crab. Then I said, you're the crab. Did you identify with the crab? Maybe not so much, or maybe you're like, yeah, that's me. What about the porcupine? The porcupine and the crab, they both had elements of protecting ourselves. Is it time to let go of some protection because it may be blocking a moving forward? Wombat. Do you need to stay close to home? Do you need to come back to yourself? Do you need to seek support from somebody in your world who feels like home? Fox. Are you ready to shift and shift quickly with your beginner's mind of the porcupine, with the eclipse energy that changes everything? And knowing, Magic Maker, that at this moment as you breathe it in, You may not feel deeply connected to one or all of those animals, but you may as we move beyond this light of this full moon. Or you may get an insight later. Always, I recommend always, and I say always to all magic makers, what is the most important thing you can do now is to anchor into your own magic. What feels aligned for you? Which animal is bringing you a message now? So many blessings to you all for this full moon lunar eclipse. Let me know in the comments if you feel that you might be a little bit of a crab, porcupine, wombat, fox. Maybe you're a werewolf or a moon witch. Breathing in and knowing all full moons are times to also celebrate what we have achieved and to release what we no longer need. And with that eclipse energy, it means the celebration is bigger and the release is bigger. So my magic makers, as always, I send you so much love. Big love from the Caribbean. And I just want you to know, like, continue to breathe it in. Return home to yourself and know it as a truth that you are the magic.